Hello and welcome back to the channel. Thanks for joining me. Today I want to do a slightly different video. A few people have mentioned in comments on my 3-episode Wales road trip that they'd like me to just go into a little bit of detail about myself and who I am, etc. So I won't rabbit on about myself for absolutely ages, but in a nutshell, I'm 34, I'm Joe, I currently live in Manchester. I'm originally from sort of South London, Surrey way. I've been living up in Manchester now for about a year. Before that I was down in central London. I touched upon a little bit of this in my last few videos. I work in marketing and brand, have done for a good 10-12 years now. I've worked for big football clubs up in Manchester that you would have heard of. Worked in football for a good 5 or 6 years, working with players and doing marketing and brand activation with those guys. And also previous to that worked in rugby. So that's what I do. It is a demanding job. It's very time consuming. However, my absolute passion is adventure motorbiking. If I could literally have my own way, I'd do this full time, absolutely. I think most of us would, if I'm honest. So balancing YouTube, adventure motorbiking with work will be a challenge, but I'm confident that I can actually allocate enough time to do the things that I want to do. In terms of riding experience, as I touched upon in my last few videos, I am a novice. You know, I got my motorbike license a good while back. I think it was 2007, so it has been some time, but there's been massive breaks in between of riding bikes. I think I did my CBT, I did my full bike license in 3 days, as you could back then. And it was mainly because I was going backpacking around the world for a year, and I thought it'd be really handy to be able to have a motorbike license as and when I needed it. And that was the case. I lived in Thailand for a year, did an awful lot of motorbiking through there, moved to Sydney for a couple of years after that, and had a little Honda NSR, I think it was, little kickstart 2-stroke Honda NSR 125. Absolute nightmare of a bike. Used to just decide if it got too hot it just wouldn't start and it stalled. It was a horrible little thing. However, that was my sort of intro into biking, I guess. And then I spent about 8 years not riding motorbikes up until probably about a year, maybe 18 months ago, when I was living in central London. And I, like everyone else, watched all the long way downs, long way rounds and long way up, and it just reignited my interest in motorbikes. That is really the pinnacle of everything that I want to do, and I do love motorbikes, but I love travelling more, and I think motorbikes are a great tool to go and see the world. I bought a KTM 390 Adventure, my first bike back, and after about 20 minutes absolutely regretted not getting something bigger. I was intimidated by bigger bikes. I actually sat on this exact bike before I bought one, and I was like, this is too big, it's too intimidating, but it's amazing. After about an hour you pick it straight back up again and you're absolutely fine. So I had the KTM 390 for only a couple of months, I must admit, before I started hanging around the bike shed a little bit more in Shoreditch, and really started to want a cafe racer or a modern classic. And it didn't take much convincing before I bought a Triumph T100 Black. Loved it. You know, I was only in London probably another 6 months after I purchased that bike, but the whole 6 months, perfect. Triumph, Bonnevilles, Scramblers, all those types of bikes, those modern classic Royal Enfields, perfect for London, perfect. Best bikes going. You can filter, cheap to run, cheap to insure, they've got the curb appeal, brilliant. But the minute I moved back up to Manchester, I thought, this bike doesn't suit Manchester. Manchester's not like London in terms of size and biking culture, and places like Bolt or the Bike Shed or Aces. It doesn't have anything like that. I hope it does, and if there's anybody watching with a couple of quid in their back pocket, like, Manchester's crying out for a place like Bike Shed, but that's a completely different conversation altogether. So it didn't take long before the Bonneville just didn't suit the environment. We've got Peak District, Lake District, we've got Wales, Yorkshire Dales, we've got loads of stuff within an hour and a half rider here. And it made me think, why did you really get back into motorbiking? Why did you want to get into biking in the first place? And if I'm being honest with myself, I wasn't being true to why I truly got into biking again, and that absolutely was long distance adventures. And in order to do that, I need an adventure bike. And I went through all the, palaver of trying to convert the Bonneville into a long distance tourer, added big fly screens and luggage, but it just wasn't the one. It wasn't the one. And as I mentioned previously on my last video, I've got a couple of herniated discs, had an operation on my back a couple of years ago, and if I'm honest, the riding position just wasn't very natural. And if I were to sit on this, my riding position on the KTM is great. I'm nice and upright, super comfy. I can sit and have sat on this bike for days on end with no back pain whatsoever. The Triumph, however, I was like more of a rounded, leaned in position, and it didn't take long, half an hour, before I started to get some back pain. On top of that, it was the suspension as well on the Triumph, super hard suspension, small bumps in the road, just fired up, shocks right up my back, and wasn't a good start. So that's why I settled on the KTM 890. I love it. I know a few of you have mentioned the KTM or keep money taking, that's it. And some of you are right and some of you are not, but they do get a bad rap. I think they're fantastic machines. So my nervousness with the KTMs is because they're quite electronic bias. And a lot of people mention that sometimes they can just have a bit of a fault with the computer, is that if you're in quite a remote place, because I struggle even in Manchester trying to find a KTM dealer, is having someone that can fix a bike if it's an electronic issue. And that is a real concern, genuinely is a real concern. In my last video as well, I talked about the cruise control quick shifter. So I rung a garage yesterday, and they've quoted me £758 for what they call the KTM Rally Pack. So as most of you probably know, but I'll say it for the ones that don't, KTM build all the hardware into their bikes when they sell them. But in order to unlock certain features on the bike, you've got to pay money to get the software upgrade to activate the hardware. That is a very controversial model, I guess, that they have. That's quite a lot of money. That is quite a lot of money. Very different between 400 quid or something, and you think, oh, it's still a lot, but it might be worth it to unlock those features. I have seen a few videos as well, where people have talked about they've bought the Rally Pack in a year or two's time, done a review, and they said, would I have gone back and repurchased the Rally Pack? And the general consensus is no. So that being said, it'd be great to hear your thoughts in the comment section. Would you pay the £250 just for to have cruise control unlocked, or have any of you spent the $750 to get the Rally Pack with the quick shifter and the rally mode as well as the cruise control? It'd be great to hear your thoughts around it, if I'm honest. For me, what I experienced in Wales, and I'm going to sound like a wet blanket saying this, is only 3 days and about 200 miles a day. I did 250. I started getting really bad shoulder ache, just sort of like shoulder blade and shoulder ache from having my hand on the throttle all day, and a little bit of discomfort in my hand from changing gears, particularly more on the twisties where I'm constantly changing gear. So a few of you have mentioned, why would you even want a quick shifter on an adventure bike? If you wanted speed, get a sport bike. And I have addressed some of these, and for me, it's just convenience. They're driver aids or rider aids. And my thoughts behind it is, I don't want to completely take away the riding experience through having loads of electronics and rider aids, but some of them, if you genuinely are planning 10-day trips and knocking out thousands of miles, I think you do need to address certain things that just make your life a little bit easier. Cruise control is an absolute must-have. If you have your arm in that fixed position all day, unnatural position for your shoulder, it's going to take its toll after a while, and it certainly did with me in Wales. So I think for me, getting the cruise control is an absolute must-have. Being able to just alternate the arms as I'm on the motorway, if I get arm ache, absolute lifesaver for me. Quick shifter, I think they quoted £360 separately for the quick shifter. Now for me, the quick shifters are nice to have. It would be handy, just flipping in and out. However, for £360, I don't think I'll be prepared to spend that right now. So it will be in a separate video. I am going to go up, get the cruise control sorted. I've got some more content as well coming. I've just ordered some Michelin Anarchy Wild tyres. I'll show you my tyres down here in a second. They're super worn. I think they're the standard Avons that come with the KTMs. If you've watched any of my shorts on YouTube, you see I almost binned it in a ditch, and that was literally going over the smallest, thinnest layer of mud on a farmer's track, and this back wheel went flying and I almost ended up in a ditch. So it's something that needs to get sorted straight away. I will be doing a full review of the tyres going on, and me doing a bit of a green lane review to let you know how the tyres are. But those Michelin Anarchies, they look good, they're 50-50, but they are set up for the road and you don't feel like you're going to lose it around every bend. Apparently the reviews are very, very good on them. Again, it'd be great to hear your thoughts. If anybody is riding with the Michelin Anarchy Wilds, please drop a comment, let me know what you're thinking of it. But now, I'm in Salford Quays, just outside of Manchester, so I'm going to have a little ride, I'm going to go for a coffee, and I'll catch you in a little bit. Okay, so we had some nice food, coffee and some lunch in the Alchemist in Media City in Salford, just outside Manchester, home to the BBC and ITV up here. Definitely getting a little bit colder this time of year. Always a good time to start a motorbike YouTube channel in October. Manchester in the UK. But any time's better than never, I guess. I'm trying a new clip on the windscreen here for GoPro, trying to bring you some new angles, some different perspectives from filming. Trial and error at the moment, see how this goes. These KTM screens aren't the most solid screens because they've only got one screw to fix the actual whole windscreen in. I think the new KTM model's got 4 points, so it's a lot more secure, but that's bouncing around quite a lot, so I'll see once I come to do the edit, but I'm not entirely convinced I'm going to have a nice smooth shot, if I'm honest, but we'll see how we go. Go on, Mr. Taxi, on your way. Bit of rush hour here in Manchester, getting back into the city. The 890 KTM that I've got is definitely a work in progress. There's quite a lot I want to do to the bike, and I will document everything that I do. But I want to upgrade the windscreen, I want to have a look at some vinyl graphics for it, I want to activate some of the stuff that I was talking about earlier with the rally pack, even if it is just cruise control. The mirrors need to go. I'm not a big fan of these mirrors, they're pretty ugly looking, these things. And then I want to get some bush bars as well, so just in case I do drop it, it's not going to smash my grips or my clutch or brake lever. So I am at the moment trying to organise some adventure training, some one-to-one bike training, enduro training, and a bit of large adventure bike training over in Wales. There's a number of companies that do it. At the moment I'm just trying to organise when that is going to be. It is October, like I say, it is cold and they do book out in advance, so at the moment they don't have any dates till mid-December, and if I'm honest, I don't think it will be the funnest environment doing outdoor off-roading mid-December. I'm just not good enough to do trips like that at all at the moment. I've never ridden in the sand, I've never ridden in heavy mud or pretty bad sort of terrain, so my plan is to do a number of one-to-one sessions in Wales, get my basic experience and like basic riding framework for off-roading, and build on that really. So that's what I'm planning on doing. So if I can get a couple of days together and then build on that knowledge and start to do some trips with these tour companies in the spring, that would be fantastic. But I am eyeing up a 6 or 7 day trip to Morocco through the desert. I'd absolutely love to do that. So just to give you a bit of a flavour of what genuinely I am looking at doing over the next 24 months, and please stay tuned. It'll be great for you to be on board for the whole journey, seeing me as I am now, very beginner rider, and then hopefully become a bit more of an accomplished rider. So that's it for today. Thank you for watching, really appreciate it. Just taking Frank out for a little walk tonight before calling it a day. But before I go, just reminding you, next episode is going to be fitting the Michelin Anarchy Wild tyres to the KTM. I'll be doing that at 12 o'clock tomorrow, and weather permitting, I plan to go out, do some green laning and give the tyres a proper review and a bit of a test ride, and I'll feedback how they perform tomorrow. But this really is just the tip of the iceberg. I've got so many trips that I want to do. As I was talking about on this video, I'm looking at tour companies, I'm looking at Morocco, Kenya, Mongolia trips. I'm looking at doing some adventure, skills-based one-to-one training and just getting my riding skills where they need to be before taking on some bigger adventures like this. So it really is the tip of the iceberg. But I can't do it without everyone supporting the channel, subscribing, liking, commenting, etc. I think I'm 3 videos in at the moment and about 500 subscribers. I never thought I'd be in this position. I thought it'd be a proper slow burner if ever it even took off. So all the comments, and not only just for comments, the supportive comments, it's why I love the motorbike community. Everybody's just been so supportive, and yeah, I really couldn't have asked for anything more. So I hope you've enjoyed it today. I'll see you tomorrow, and if you can like, subscribe, and please comment and continue to support the channel, it means the absolute world to me, and without you I can't build content like this. So I will